Zodiac signs most likely to be stuck in a toxic relationship. Number one, Pisces. It's no secret Pisces struggle with boundaries. Sticking to their own boundaries, knowing their own limits, and sticking to their own limits, sticking to what they say they're gonna do and the boundaries they set with themselves and with other people. But a lot of times, Pisces really struggle in relationships when it comes to making the person abusing them or neglecting them the victim. It's like, yeah, this person hurts my feelings. Yeah, this person is neglecting me. Yeah, this person isn't treating me how I want to be treated. But they've been through this type of trauma. They've been through that. They kind of turn the person treating them poorly into the victim by making excuses for them. Even though everybody's been through their own shit, I'm sure that Pisces been through more than enough shit, but a lot of the times they tend to be the ones showing up, providing that emotional care, comfort, and support, and not getting that same TLC in return. So Pisces, your love knows no limits, but make sure you're with somebody who keeps up with you and pours into you the same way you pour into them. And you're not pouring into an empty cup by someone who just takes. It doesn't treat you the way you want or need to be treated. Scorpios. Scorpios are all about endings, rebirth, and all the transformation that comes in between. They crave stability, loyalty, someone who is a ride or die, because Scorpios are very ride or die for their people, because when they lose someone after they finally let them in, because it takes a lot for a Scorpio to let someone in, losing that person feels like a piece of that Scorpio died, which is why it's so hard for them to fully and actually let people in, since they're known to feel their feelings so deeply and so intensely. You see this with Scorpio placements, but I see this generationally with people who have their Chiron in Scorpios, which is why I feel like our generation is so toxic and gravitates towards that Scorpio mentality when it comes to relationships. It's common with a lot of Scorpio placements in general, where it's a lot of physical intimacy, but not so much emotional intimacy. It's very hard for them to believe things are actually meant to last, which is why Scorpios are always preparing for things not to work out, preparing for that person to leave, preparing for shit to hit the fan and them to be betrayed in some way. And when you're always preparing for an ending, you're always preparing for the worst, you end up acting in a way. Y'all know how manifestations work. It's really important to make sure your subconscious is in check, so your conscious and your reality can be what you want and need it to be, rather than what you're scared it'll be. And a big thing with Scorpios too is you could be theirs, but they're not yours. In the sense of, they might not want you with anybody else, but they could do Lord knows what with God knows who. So that dynamic obviously could be toxic. But also with Scorpio placements, their early experiences are so important. Be it both their upbringing, their childhood upbringing, but also their first intimate relationships. Because Scorpio is a fixed sign, so they're very set in their ways. So what happens to them early on, they assume is the standard. So if they have an early childhood wound of being abandoned, of being left, you know, they're going to assume people always leave, and that's just what happens. And they're always going to be looking out for people to leave. If they experience, you know, a very dysfunctional family, they're always going to be assuming that's how it's going to go. Like, this is the standard. This is how it is. This is how it always is going to be. So Scorpios, pretty much more than any sign, really need to take the time to unlearn the toxicity they've experienced early on, because just because it happened in the past does not mean it's going to happen in the future, especially if you're proactive about avoiding those signs and those types of people in the future, rather than looking for healing in the types of spaces or with the types of people that broke you in the first place. And understand you can be loved more than what you were and loved more than what you saw. And then Taurus, because simply for the fact, Tauruses don't be letting go of shit. Taurus is pretty much last on the list of most likely to leave you. Even when things aren't working out, even if they're not happy, even if they know they're not getting their needs met, a lot of times if a Taurus is used to you, especially if that's all they know, they're scared to learn something else. You see it a lot of times with mentalities and with people. Change is the real C word for a Taurus. They're like, it was good at first, maybe we could get our way back to it, get our way back, but it's like, girl, relationships are supposed to grow together, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that as time goes on, things keep going in a worse and worse and worse direction, it might be time for you to give it up, Delicious. What's the point of continuing to go deeper and deeper down a dead end just because you're scared of exploring another path? Let me know what you all think of the advice and observations, and follow for more.